Good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday, September 5th, almost 6:30. It's the MLB Pick Sprapp. How did we do yesterday when the day I decided to not do a video and go to Charlestown? Yesterday, we went 10-2, of course. We did really great yesterday. We won a lot of games. The only thing we lost, Seattle, which I didn't have the lineup in there when I posted the lines. If you checked the website or checked Instagram yesterday before the games, within an hour, you caught it, and we got lucky. Good for us. Let's see if we can keep that running today. We should be back on the upswing. We're still down 8 units overall since July 30th. We'll see if we're on the comeback here. We're still working on the file. We're working through the kinks. So let's talk about today. Good day yesterday. Let's have another good day today. We have fixed the lineup issue we had. So let's see if there's anything fun today. All right, we missed these 2 games. It liked Boston slightly. I think Boston did win today. It liked Cleveland. I actually wanted you to bet Cleveland. Cleveland did win 3-1. So I don't know what the over-under was because I didn't get sent in time. Let's talk about games that are happening tonight. 7 o'clock, we have St. Louis over Washington. St. Louis helped us out last night. We have Mikolas looking good. Tanner Roark, losing pitcher here. Nats, we don't do good with the Nats. I can see why it's a solid pick for St. Louis. On the road, I like it. We'll see if it happens. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh doesn't like us picking anybody. Doesn't really like anything with the over-under, even though Homer Bailey, commonly known as the worst pitcher in baseball, is in the game. You'd think Pittsburgh would win. It likes it in win percentage, but doesn't like the line. Tampa Bay and Toronto. Tyler Glasnow, do you have his cumulative stats in here? It likes Tampa Bay slightly. It likes barely puts them in here at -128. We do have a winning record with Tampa Bay. That's probably not a bad pick there, even though that's one of the last ones, 13 out of 14 possible games in the day. Philly and Miami. Wow. It likes Miami over Philly. Now that is interesting because Sandy Alcantara has a 1-0 record, and Miami's lineup factor is bad. But I don't know why it doesn't favor them in win strength. You can see it's almost a toss-up, but it likes this line because Philly's been known to throw games. So in Philly, we don't have a win right now. We don't have it's a stay away here, but for some reason it likes Miami with this line. Consider Miami +1.5. It's a big ballpark. Miami +1.5, not a bad idea actually. Mets and Dodgers. Likes the Dodgers over Wheeler Hyunjin. Okay, we don't have making money with either of these teams. Doesn't like that line, but doesn't like the Mets. I don't know. It's a stay away kind of. I mean, Dodgers probably, they're fighting, so they're probably going to win, but it's not a great pick with the line there. Angels in Texas. They might not hit this over tonight. The Angels are not scoring a ton of runs. ERA is a little better here. So Texas probably won't score as much. I think the under 10 is a good bet here. It's calling for 9. Really likes Texas over Jaime Barria. Is Cologne going to come to play against the Angels? I don't agree with the file here. I don't agree with the file. Texas is not that reliable. We've won more with the Angels, so watch out for that pick, even though the file's kicking that out. Cubs in Milwaukee. Likes the Cubbies. Jason's a winning pitcher. Wow. Because of the line, slightly, it's not in our threshold. It's a tough game to pick, but it does have consistent and winning percentage here because Quintana's pretty good. They're fighting. Milwaukee is fighting for playoffs or not? I don't think Milwaukee is in the playoff hunt. 104, it's worth a risk. +1.5, a great bet with them on the road. That's probably a winning bet if you can get that. Minnesota and Houston. Likes Houston is the best pick of the day, top pick of the day. Odorizzi's got a losing record this year. Look at the pitching on Framber Valdez. I don't know how many innings he's had. We could take a quick look to see exactly. What? That's pitchers. Framber, not Frambler. 14 innings, 2 earned runs. So not a huge amount of experience, but it has been good. So I can see why they want Houston because Minnesota is not a strong team. This is probably a win for Houston. We'll see. But I agree with that. That's okay. Detroit and the White Sox didn't want us to pick anybody yesterday and avoided us losing a game. Likes the White Sox here because of Kopech. Yeah, I like this a lot. This is a good bet. I think they're going to win this game. I think this guy's good. Yeah, I like the White Sox better than 7 pick here. San Francisco and Colorado likes Colorado. Sensatella 48's in Colorado. Doesn't think thinks it's going to stay under in Colorado, but doesn't always figure in the minimal oxygen up there. Negative 150. That negative 150 is not a good line. I'll tell you that. But Colorado's probably going to win this game. I think there's. It's not a strong 4. I'll tell you that. Yankees in Oakland. So here I definitely love over. You'd think with Severino and Fears, they're not going to be any runs. These teams are explosive. It doesn't matter who's pitching. As I've said, Oakland can take on Godzilla, and that includes Godzilla on the mound. So I love the over of the first 5 inning over. Even I bet you can get a 5 inning over 3.5 or 4 or something. It's a great bet, and you know it's happening. It's probably happening in the first inning. They're nuts, these teams. So there's going to be scoring. They hit the over barely last night, but they hit the 5 inning over in the second inning, I think, or first inning. It was insanity. I don't. Who's going to win? He likes Oakland as a 5th pick. We don't have rosters in here yet, so we'll get a better look at winning percentage with rosters. You got big guys on the Yankees that could or may or may not be there. So keep that in mind. Baltimore and Seattle missed it last night. That's one of the 2 we missed. Like Seattle again. Can Baltimore win 2 in a row? Probably not. That line's awful, though. You can almost take a team minus 1.5 against Baltimore because when they lose hard. So there's that. That's the day. We are going to... let's look at quickly just glance at how we've been doing date-wise. I'll show you how bad this week was. Good God, look at how awful that is. We lost 5 out of the last 7 days. We lost 4 days in a row, a total of 14 units. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable completely. Now, not every one of those games is supposed to be wagers. Some of those are losses in there that you never would have bet because there wasn't information. So really, we were talking about 3.5. This is what we've been selling as the threshold of the bet score where we were supposed to be playing games above there. We're still down 6 units in 140 games. Really, what you're seeing is that we're within variance, right? Because when you say 6 units, that's 6 units right there. That's literally a week, and that's only 23 games. So, what's that, like 15% of our sample size is the variance that we're off. That's within almost 10%. What that means is that we're kind of breaking around even, and you can see we're in the middle of an ugly streak. What happened here is I got rid of recency bias. I'm going to bring that back. Which I've talked about. And also I need to import game sets. There's a lot that's going to be happening with baseball that will not happen until next season simply because there's no time with football and hockey. And wait till you see what we're going to do with hockey, let alone football. Hockey, actually, something I want to mention quickly here just as we close out. I saw an article today about some organization or something called Swarm AI, which is artificial intelligence, that ran a sample last year of 200 hockey games where they picked against Vegas and they outpicked Vegas like 61 to 55% or something like that. It was about that difference that the Swarm AI was better at predicting. Within the hockey file that I'll be doing this year, I'm going to be building my own version of artificial intelligence with these formulas and data that we pull. And I believe that what we contribute to that file and the knowledge about the sports and how we weight certain things the same way that we do it in this file, for example, like we weight player contributions by certain elements of their stats, like runs and hits, and we divide that by the maximum best players in the league and how much they get, and we come up with a contribution percentage that's over here. Now, what we're going to be doing for hockey is that's a sport that I really know because I've been playing for 7 years or something like that I've been playing hockey. And I know I know a lot of what contributes to a winning team. I was happy to watch the Capitals win the Stanley Cup for the first time ever as a lifelong Caps fan here. And so as we apply those weights and really come up with an algorithm or an artificially intelligent formula to determine what we think points are going to be, teams are going to be, offense, defense, offensive, I should say, uh, forwards and defensemen in hockey, and also how different lines match up against each other based on defensive stats and offensive stats. There's going to be a million things that we're going to be able to do. And my goal is to build a product that beats the Swarm AI's numbers in 2018 and 19 here. Because it is all about the contribution of our thoughts and how we believe game flow works and how we can program that into formulas in the data that exists and is recorded every game. How we can try to uh, quantify that history in numbers and convert it into formulas and then apply it outward going in the game. It sounds complicated, but in reality, it's pretty simple, which is, hey, there's a guy who plays really well, who has a really good plus minus on a hockey team, meaning he's not out there for a lot of the other team's goals, and he's out there for a lot of his team's goals, not even on the power play, but just normally. So a player like that probably does a lot of back checking, does a lot of not errant passing and things like that. There's different stats that are built in. So as we start to build a contribution score related to the different elements of a player, the same way that they'll do in like a video game where you'll have different players' attributes and they'll apply a percentage to that. As we do that in our file and then create a composite lineup as the game goes by and also create a composite webbed lineup, there's something in artificial intelligence, a common term that you'll hear called neural networks or there's different ways that artificial intelligence is grouped and organized. And a neural network is essentially a bunch of different data points that somehow get connected together and make different or have different views of how things are connected. So if you have a bunch of defensive players on a forward line going up against a really strong offensive team, like say you have Connor McDavid on Edmonton going up against a really strong defensive line on the Bruins or something that's really gritty and doesn't let people shoot, you can really predict that that line is going to have a lot of trouble that night if the matchups stay the same. And matchups change during the game. So you'll actually be able in real time to change the matchups in the file and see what projections may happen if lines continue to stay that way throughout the game. It's very exciting when you think about all the different possibilities that you can use to apply artificial intelligence and all this data and knowledge out there to sporting and anything. So I'm super excited about it. We went long and we're talking about hockey and you're just staring at a stat screen. But I want you to know that what's been going on is really awesome and it's not stopping. It's only becoming more plentiful. So let's go back to something here. Oh yeah, we got to mix this around, put the team back. It's interesting, you can actually change the percentages and how you look at the matchup sheet. I won't really get into that right now. But so what do we really like real quick? Do you guys really care if you're still with here? I do really I like St. Louis. I like St. Louis. I like the over in this game, in the Yankee game. I like Houston probably. And I like the White Sox. That's about it. So we're out for now. May picks be winning.